Dun, dun, dun.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Weekly Armchair Sports Talk podcast. And today, this is our UFC 264 Fight Week special show here today. So today, myself and my co-host, Si, from Against the Fence YouTube channel, are joined by two very special guests. So usually, we'd have Dylan and Erik below us, but today, Erik's decided to join me here today on the show, as well as Dylan Maher as well from Courage Muay Thai Gym. So we're here with two very stacked fighters here from the Irish Muay Thai circuit, and we're here to talk all things UFC 264. But the lads are also going to be talking about themselves here tonight as well. So a lot of things to break down, a lot of things to discuss. And as always, do smash the like in the video, do hit that subscribe button, and look, we'll get cracking here tonight. First of all, Dylan and Erik, it's going to come to both of you first. Obviously, Dylan, I'll come to you. Like, we've been in a lockdown period for kind of almost, well, over a year now, but like obviously the Muay Thai gyms, all the boxing gyms, all the sports kind of places in Ireland have shut down. Recently out of lockdown now, though Courage has had the opportunity to open back up. Erik is in there now preparing for fight as well. But kind of just for both of you, Erik and Dylan, like how's it been kind of getting out of lockdown and kind of being back in the gym and kind of being back into the swing of things?
It's brilliant being back, man. You know, like we all missed so much, and like you said, over the last year, we've only really trained from, say, last year we got January to March, then everything shut down, and we went again from I think like June through October, and then we got like a week before Christmas, and from Christmas to June we were all closed down. Like, so it was sickening not being able to get into the gym. But one thing I've been impressed with is actually most people who've come back have actually improved. So like they were putting in a bit of work themselves over the lockdown, you know, like Erik was, like I was myself. So that was good to see as well, that there was people, you know, they were dedicated to themselves, put in the work. And there's just been a great buzz. Like, geez, like the last month has been one of the best months I can remember in the gym. There's been a really good level. All the kids and the teenagers have really started to progress. And, you know, to some of the adults, like, I mean, Erik is looking better than ever. Erik was ready to fight at the start of this year. Never mind by the time August comes around, like, you know, so seeing that level now has just been great, man. Yeah, delighted.
Yeah. And Erik, yourself?
Yeah, look, I mean, like, I suppose there's lots of mixed opinions over lockdown and everything, but I mean, the way I looked at it was as an opportunity. You know, you're never going to have so much free time ever again in your life. Like, so I was literally sitting at home there, cooked up inside, getting 300 quid a week there. Do you know what I mean? It's the handiest thing ever. So I just kind of took the opportunity to train every day. Do you know what I mean? Lifting weights more than anything, more than cardio, like, you know. So, and like Dylan was saying there, it's the same with all the kids. You know, we have some very, very promising young kids in the club now. And it's very evident that they've all been training over lockdown as well, you know. But it's just training away over lockdown, man, keeping busy. And results are definitely showing.
Yeah. Now that's actually amazing, and obviously it's something you see in all walks of life as well. I mean, something about absence that's making the heart grow a lot more fonder, you know. Yeah. But you yourself, Dylan, you've recently come back from an injury, right? You've kept it's kept you up for some time now. So how's that recovery process been? I mean, have you sort of been?
So, like, as you said there, you couldn't have said it better. Like, absence makes the heart grow fonder, because like being out for so long, man. Like, even before the lockdown, I was just about 6 months after a pair of surgeries, one for a meniscus replacement, which then I had to go get an ACL reconstruction after that, because they found a deeper problem. Like, so that set me back for quite some time. And of course, in the lockdown, like Erik, I took the chance to go training every day, and it was probably a bit too soon to do what I was doing in terms of weightlifting and, you know, like running the roads and stuff. And I ended up getting another surgery then last year. So it was 3, and that knocked me back till about January of this year. So like for me, even being back now has just been amazing. Like the last month has been actually the first month of like proper pad hitting, sparring, you know, clinching and getting real twice a day sessions in 6 days a week. So I feel like I've been back to a good fight camp routine almost. So yeah, it's just, I'm delighted to be back. My knee feels 100% now. Taking a bit of time off after the 3rd surgery was the right thing to do. I was just too eager before, you know. I feel like it matured me a lot. And also being able to coach the guys, like teaching something is the best way to learn something, I think. Because I feel like I've actually improved my IQ and my technique just through teaching and like doing really slow shadow boxing sessions myself during the process of surgery where I couldn't train hard. I was forced to kind of slow things down and pick myself apart a little bit. Like, so I'm just delighted to be back now. My knee feels good and I just can't wait to fight again, man. Yeah, it's great.
No, I bet 100%. And do you have any particular opponent in mind that you want to be sort of No, who's in your sights?
No one in particular. There's a couple of guys who I fought in the past. Like my last fight, actually, July 2019 on Yokau in Dublin, was against a guy called Dan Bonner. He's had, I think, 2 good wins since then. And he's a little bit ahead of me in the WBC world rankings at the moment. So that's actually a fight I'd love to run back. But to be honest, like, I'm open to absolutely anything. Like, just getting a fight back at this stage. I'm not pushing myself to get there by a certain date. I'm kind of just enjoying my training again and getting back to my camp. There's a couple of guys there, yeah. But as I said, I'm not going to be too nitpicky. I just want to get back in and get a fight under my belt, and get that routine again. Because before my injuries, I was very active, fighting like 4 to 6 times a year. So definitely want to get back to that routine, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And I saw that fight as well against Dan Bonner. I watched that myself, and I mean, it was a really good fight. I mean, I loved in the latter rounds as well. I was just watching it. I was just thinking, you sort of up in the tempo and up in the pace, even as he was sort of fatiguing and everything else. And like I said to myself, that's the Irish sort of grit that everyone's talking about this week.
100%, yeah.
Do you see that with I guess the other people in your gym as well? It's not just a Conor McGregor thing, is it? You guys, you share that.
Oh, 100%, definitely. Like, yeah, and especially like, I think the commentator in that fight even said it, courage by name and courage by nature. It's the name of our gym. Like, and all of our guys, all the guys who have come out with courage are known for just being, like, not even scrappy, but just gritty and getting stuck in there and not being afraid of getting into a fight. Like, you know what I mean? It's, you keep it clean for as long as you can, but as you see in that fight, the elbow flies in and it gets dirty all of a sudden. Like, you got to just push the pace,
That's it. I mean, the hands are just letting the lever go at the later rounds are just so entertaining. I love to see that. That's great.
Yeah. But I'd love to run that back and hopefully get a better performance, because although I felt I did well in that fight, I know I could have done a bit more as well, and maybe just calm down a little bit more and held back. But that's all stuff I've been looking at myself over the past 2 years, I suppose. With an injury, I've been forced to just sit back and analyze myself and everybody else around me, I suppose.
Yeah, no, fair enough. And Erik, of course, you're fighting in August, right? You mentioned that, of course.
Buzzing for it.
Aaron O'Reilly?
No, Aaron O'Reilly. I actually fought him. That's bloody hell. That's going back
January last year.
That's January 2020.
Right. Yeah. So that was my last
fight, actually. That's
last fight was Aaron O'Reilly. Gotcha.
Correct. Yeah, exactly.
So this upcoming fight on the 14th. I mean, how's your preparation been for that so far?
Do you know what? I think, like, thinking back, I think my training for this fight began way back, at the start of COVID. Like, do you know what I mean? I think, like, this whole COVID training at home preparation has been leading up to this fight. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, I'm not going to say, oh yeah, I'm going to go in and spark him out. Like, but I feel that, I have confidence in my team. I have confidence in my coach, and that is kind of, and I have confidence in my own ability, but and I think that's kind of where my head is at now, but I'm buzzing for it, man. It's been a year and a half almost out of the ring now. I'd say all of us in the Muay Thai scene are dying to get back in there. So it's very exciting.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, I guess a lot of people are going to think, ring rust is a thing, but I guess when you're so hungry to get back in there, it's probably not even going to be an issue for you guys, is it?
Yeah, that's it as well. Exactly. Right. Ring rust, I suppose, is just something you're going to have to get over, I think everybody in the Muay Thai fight scene is the very same. You're just going to have to get over it, like, get in there, get it done. Do what your training has taught you to do. And like Dylan said, it's the courage motto, all grit, no shit, like, So got to get in there and do it, man.
That's it.
No, I love that.
And kind of like, I think when you look at kind of with yourselves as well, I think Dylan and Erik, I think the way you look at your stories kind of intertwined, like, almost. Like, Courage has gone through a very successful period in the last couple of years. Like, you've seen Dylan winning the European title, the ISK title, the Four Nations belt, Ian Crotty winning the belt, Erik going on and fighting to a couple of title fights as well, and you're on the cusp of another title fight as well. Like, Courage has done very well, and you think in a town like Clonmel, we have the SBG Clonmel as well here, well. Like, there's a lot of fights. Marco from Courage is going to, and Courage and SBG is going to the IMAFs as well. They're coming soon as well. So, like, when you look at the talent pool coming out of this town, it's insane. And like, Ireland in general, I think Ireland have a lot of promising fighters on the Muay Thai scene, the MMA scene. And I think when you look at it, after the transitions of when the Conors and stuff like that, they've done well to give this country a platform. But I think you look at the up and comers like James Gallagher in Bellator coming up. He's a fantastic fighter. Obviously, you've Queally as well, who was almost a veteran in Bellator, and he beat to Patricky Pitbull in his last fight. So like, you look at the Irish fight scene, it's in a very good place. And the fact of the matter is now with lockdown, like all the restrictions going, now there's a chance for these fighters to actually develop, get more fights under the belt and get into competition. Because I think we looked at the last year and a half nearly, though that's been stripped away.
Yeah. I agree with you, man. And especially for the juniors, to be honest. Like I've been saying this to people, like even Erik, like it's like whatever about us, but you know, like kids between the ages of maybe like 8, 9 and up to 15, 16, like they're kind of prime years of their development that they've just missed out on. You know what I mean? Like at least we've kind of trained for a long time. Erik's training like 10 plus years. I'm training almost 10 years. But you know, those kids who've just begun something, like they've missed out on some development time. So the sooner they can get back in as well, the better. And just get back into it. But definitely it's coming. It's coming. There's a light there.
Absolutely. And Andy Hickey's in here to comment as well. And in terms of Irish fighters, Ian Gary is the one.
Great fighter.
Absolutely.
Sounds he like just became Cage Warriors champ, right?
Say again.
Did he just become the Cage Warriors champ? Am I right in saying that? The welterweight champ, or is that someone else I'm mistaking him for?
I'm not too sure.
Andy, maybe.
Must check that one out.
Must check that one out.
He's 7-0. Ian Gary, just have a quick look at him. But
he's a solid fighter, very good. Yeah,
last fight, it was.
And the fact that you've John as well, he's over in Dubai doing his thing as well. So like, there's plenty of fighters coming out of the country who are doing well. So I think, look, when you look into this weekend, a Conor win would do wonders, I think, as well for this country, because that propels him onto the higher stage. And then what it also does,
it's a big boost to everyone else in the country that's fighting as well, though. You know, when Conor wins, everybody else who fights in the country to do even more. Like, you know, it's a bit of a buzz, like, you know.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, definitely.
He does have a big influence on kids, especially. You know, I mean, even in, you know, the youngsters we have in Courage. Like, I mean, it's there's a lot of them there. Like, and there's a lot of promising, you know, prospects there, like for future fights and future fighters. Like,
no, this is it. And you know, it sounds like you guys got like a great culture in the gym as well. I mean, have you guys? You know, you got like some fun nicknames there as well, man. Big Red, that's Dylan. That's your nickname. Where's that come from? I mean, am I right to assume why they call you Big Red, or should I not?
So Big Red is basically a name. Like, it's something that I didn't even put on myself. It was a guy who used to train with. His name was Donkey. Real good fighter, top level. He was world ranked. He was, I believe, European champion, WBC champ. Held a lot of titles in his day. Like, but I used to train with him a lot when I started, and he just looked at me one day and he was like, "You're like the Big Red Machine, Kane, out of the WWE." And I was a big wrestling fan too, and I kind of started laughing. I was like, "That's hilarious." And he started calling me Big Red all the time. And then when I went to fight shows and people didn't know my name because I was still just an amateur fighter, my name just became known as Big Red. Like, you know, and like, there's probably people still there that don't know me by my real name, just know Red or Big Red or something. So just the kind of name that was given to me and stuck, and I ran with it. You know. I like it.
It's got some deeper meaning in that,
yeah. And I think I'd be right. I'm pretty sure Canelo's name in Spanish it translates to Big Red as well. Someone said that to me before, and I was like, "That's pretty cool," because Canelo is fucking awesome, and I like Canelo too. Like, so it's good.
He's a thing, isn't he? Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
But so, what about you, Erik? Do you have a nickname?
Oh, lads, I could tell you. Do you know what? When Walter Scott was the coach of Courage, lads, I'll tell you a funny story. Actually, right? It was an amateur fight. It was I can't actually remember where it was, but I was there standing, you know, ready to go to the ring and everything. Yeah, ready to go. I had the gear on and everything. The next thing, and now into the ring is Erik Pretty Boy Hehir. Like, Joe, Wally used to just give me all these nicknames. Joe, he'd just go up to the MC or whatever and say, "Yeah, here, look, give this." I think I had Pretty Boy. I had Erik the Cleric. There's another few mad ones, like, you know, but Wally was just a messer, like, you know, it was a bit of fun, like, you know. So
the Hitman now, isn't it?
The Hitman was one.
The Hitman was one as well, yeah.
There was a few of them, yeah. We'll have to pick one and stick to it.
Yeah.
But like, when you look at this now, like, guys, speaking about big fights, I think if anyone's not, like, you know, I suppose walked out their front door, you won't even know. You know, Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier is coming up this Saturday. The trilogy fight, the big one. For all the marbles, as Conor said. Obviously, look, They got fought twice. Conor knocked him out in 2014, devastating fashion. Dustin Poirier come in the second fight against all the odds, knocked McGregor out in the devastating fashion as well. So you look at this fight, there's a lot on the line. They're 1-1. For many MMA fans, this is the last one for Conor to really kind of prove if he is kind of in title contention again. From Dustin Poirier, a lot of people are kind of, criticizing him for taking the McGregor fight on the back of a win when he could have fought Oliveira for the title. Let's kind of come to the whole panel now with regards to this and their thoughts kind of coming into this fight before we kind of get into breakdowns in terms of adjustments and what the fighters can do before we come to the fighters on that. But Si, I'm going to come to you first with this. How are you feeling coming into this fight? Because obviously this is only 5 months after Conor's after getting knocked out. There's obviously a lot of a mental game kind of to that. He's had to be knocked out by someone 5 months ago and he's jumping back in with him. Does Dustin have the edge kind of coming into this weekend?
No, it's a really good question, honestly. And I've it's been like the $1 million question. It really has been, because I've been going back and forwards all week, and I've been talking to JK about it and a couple of other fighters as well about it. And it's just so hard to call. These guys are, as you said, 1-on-1. It's like a 50-50 chance. They can clip each other. I'm excited for the weekend and to watch the fight. Absolutely. What I really would love to see, and I just don't think it will happen, is it to go the distance, because we've not seen anything further than 2 rounds between these guys yet. To go the distance would be amazing. And that's where I'm sort of torn. I feel like if it does go the distance, then Poirier is probably someone who can sort of edge the win there, and that'll be so entertaining to see, because it would just be like a massive battle going backwards and forwards. But then again, if McGregor, and he's just amazing at his striking, he can catch Poirier. We know he's able to put him out before. If he stays sharp, then McGregor can start it going a distance and get a win. So, I don't know. Do I want a short win by McGregor, or do I want a sort of a long entertaining backwards and forth and a title and Poirier walking out there taking the win? Ideally, I really want McGregor to win this one. I do, because I just think it could be a lot more entertaining for the division. But how it goes, it's really hard.
Dylan, I'll come to you. Like when you look at this fight, calf kicks were a big thing in the last fight. It was kind of a big adjustment. Kind of Dustin Poirier made. McGregor was very heavy on his front leg, kind of took a real boxing-based stance, and his lead leg was kind of there to be chopped at. Now, obviously, I'll come to both of you actually on this. I'll get your take first on Dylan.
Yeah,
them low calf kicks, they seem to have evolved in the last kind of couple of years in MMA and kind of in stand-up fighting in general. Yourself being a Muay Thai fighter, like, what is it like to kind of throw them kicks? What's it like to receive them? Kind of, what adjustments can Conor kind of make? To kind of, I suppose, shield himself from these calf kicks.
Yeah, I get you. Like with the calf kicks, like, believe it or not, in Muay Thai, it's actually an illegal technique. You can't kick below the knee. You're allowed to sweep, so you don't kick below the knee. But like the thing I see is because the Muay Thai stance is so different, and we're not worried about takedowns. We can kind of, we can sit our hips down differently. So it's very easy to block kicks, and to be honest, in Muay Thai, if you can't block a calf kick, you're going to have no chance of blocking any other form of kick. But in MMA, it's so different then, because the stance is so much in and out, and there's a lot of different movement going on, and they can get caught quite easily coming in, and as you said, McGregor, with that heavy stance coming forward, I was just kind of asking for it, really. I think on the show we did, before that fight, I predicted a McGregor first or second round finish. I thought he was going to come out like Conor of old and throw those kicks, the low kicks of his own, and maybe even like the head kick he hit Cowboy with, and some of those back leg teeps and stuff. But he just kind of came all boxing. He almost invited the calf kicks from Poirier. Poirier kind of read him and started to tag him with the hands then. But I think he'll make the adjustment this time to not get caught. I think he'll use his range and distance management to be in and out when he needs to be, and not leaving that lead leg there to be exposed again. And I think he might actually try and use it as a tactic on Poirier as well, like come back with calf kicks of his own.
Yeah.
Because they're both southpaws, facing southpaw, so they both have that back leg, inside leg kick available to him, which is pretty much what Poirier was taking his leg out with in the first fight. You see there at one point he literally almost took the leg out from underneath him. Conor shifted the weight onto that lead leg and it completely stumbled. So I think it could be something he'll use himself in this fight, Conor, but it's going to be a hard fight for him. I think it's going to be it's going to be very hard. Like Poirier is probably the best lightweight in the world, in my opinion. Like, you know, like, and for the past few years, he's been. If you look at his resume alone, you know, it's crazy to actually see the names he's beaten. And I mean, the only person he's lost to, and I don't know how long, is Khabib. But I mean, you can't really blame anyone for losing to Khabib, I suppose, can you? Like, he was levels above.
Well, according to Conor today, in his interviews with Helwani and Stephen A. Smith, apparently Khabib's last 3 fights are the only things relevant in his career, apparently, according to Conor.
I actually seen the clip about 20 minutes before jumping on. I did, yeah. He seems like he's Conor of old. That's what's getting me now. Like, he seems like he's got a different, much different approach to this fight, doesn't he? He's really, like, amped up, and he seems ready to go. He's locked in, like, doesn't he?
Yeah, he seems like he's fired up. And I said this on Against the Fence the other day. I think we're getting like the Diaz 2 Conor, where he was really kind of zoned in, ready to go, no bullshit. And like, I think the lack of media obligations in this lead up to this fight is kind of proved that. Like, he's only doing like the big interviews on the Wednesday. There's no embedded. You know, he hasn't done anything for that. You know, there hasn't been he wasn't even on UFC Countdown for his fight either. So that's like right. I think Conor is really kind of I suppose shown a lot more commitment this fight than he would have done for the first one. And he even said, like, in his interview, that it was 75 to 80% of his camp for the Dustin Poirier fight was a precursor for Manny Pacquiao. Like, and it kind of shows with the boxing based stance that he had in the second fight, that you can see like he just thought he'd go in there just so try land that left hand. And look, we all seen what happened when he left that lead leg open and was kind of, you know, an eye opener, and he couldn't make the adjustments in time, because after about 3, 4, 5 of them those calf kicks, his leg was dead. And like, look, Poirier, like, especially in the pocket, like, I don't think we look at the lightweight division, I don't think there's anyone better in the pocket than Dustin Poirier in terms of them sprints, in terms of putting on the pace and the pressure. So I think it's very important, as you said, Dylan, like, Conor uses distance management. He's elusive, you know, he get that bounce back. I think that's the
back to that bounce. Yeah, totally agree.
And this was one thing that did come up earlier in the week as well, though. Of course, that old style that he has, that leg does look far more inviting, doesn't it? Is right out there and all day long for the calf kick.
Yes.
The thing about that, though, if McGregor does use that like stance, and I've seen Dan Hardy like break it down on his show on BT Sport, that side kick, he can throw that side kick to put off Poirier doing them calf kicks.
That would frustrate him as well. You know, just drive him mad. Poirier wouldn't like that. He'd get frustrated.
Yeah. Exactly.
What do you think, Erik?
Look, I think I'm going to go back to what Si was saying. I mean, it's so unpredictable. You know, it's very, very difficult to see where this fight is going to go. But I think because Conor's last fight with him was 5 months ago, Keane, you were saying 5 months ago, you know, that fight is still fresh in his head. Do you know what I mean? Like, so he's, you know, I think his game planning, you know, his whole mentality behind this fight is going to be much clearer than Poirier's. You know, I think Conor McGregor wants this a lot more, but then again, the two of them are very unpredictable. You know, I for one did not predict those calf kicks, like, you know. And the fight before that, Conor was fighting Donald Cerrone, wasn't it? With the shoulder strikes, you know. Like, we could see something completely, you know, out of the box there, like, you know, for this.
Conor
completely different. Like.
Conor McGregor guillotine to win.
Like, imagine something like that happening, like, you know. But that's the thing, like, something like that could happen, like, you know, you just don't know what's going to happen.
Just imagine, like, Conor tweets out there last week, first one to shoot is a dusty bitch. Imagine Conor McGregor shoots for a single. Imagine the first thing Conor does in the fight, shoots for a single leg or something. 30 seconds in. That would be just mental, but like, I
hope it goes all the rounds. Like, you know, you want to see a fight, like, you know, that kind of way. Like, you know, you're almost not to say disappointed, but I mean, if it goes 5 rounds, you know, you're buzzing after it. Like, you know, it's an
whoever wins, you're gonna
we'll see.
Not unless it's like a 5-round fight and it's someone like, you know, Khabib, where he just, you know, takes him down and dominates. You're kind of you appreciate the class
back and forth, like, you know, clash for clash, shot for shot kind of thing.
Talking about the 5 rounds, though, I think if it goes past 3 rounds, though, I think McGregor is going to be in a bit of trouble. Like, because I mean, like, I think McGregor has between rounds 1 and 3 maybe to do a job here, because even though I know he's been working on his cardio and stuff, I feel like Poirier is is that kind of fighter that when it gets to round 4 and 5, like that's what he thrives in. Like he just loves that. He wants the dogfight, like, and he's the pressure he brings is insane to guys. Like he stopped Justin Gaethje and Alvarez, like known for pressure. He put them on the fence and put them down with punches. So like I think McGregor's going to have to be very conservative in the first couple of rounds if he does want to push it to the 5 rounds, you know, for himself to maybe get the decision, because going for those kill shots in rounds 1 and 2 didn't work last time. So I don't know, is he going to go for that again? You have to wait and see, you know. But as you said, Si, like there's an unpredictable element to McGregor that you just don't know. You can never predict. Like he could come out and it could be like the Aldo fight again, you know. I mean, we've seen it before. Who knows? He's done so many different things in the octagon, I suppose, that it's very hard to predict these fights. He's got that kind of thing you can't put your finger on, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's it. But that's what makes him so entertaining to watch. You know, you don't know what's going to happen out there, and he's such an interesting style, and the way the stoppages are just like amazing. I'd love
to see a Conor throw a flying knee or something different. Do you know what I mean?
Pull something.
In fact, Masvidal's going to be at ringside, so I'd love to see Conor throw a flying knee of his own. So. Definitely. I think that'd be something I think would be absolutely nuts.
Yeah. You know, who's on the co-main, right? You got just as, not to take the focus away from it too much, but Burns is training with that Raymond Daniels. You know that Raymond Daniels guy? Insane.
Kickboxer,
yeah.
Very
insane. I would like to see some of those kicks into Conor McGregor's game. I mean,
yes. Like even in his early fights, he had style like that, didn't he? He kind of used some of those type of mad kicks, but I think that's what he needs to get back to in the Poirier fight. Speaking of Raymond Daniels, that's a good example because he's someone that used those side kicks and those really like loopy heel kicks that he's almost just trying to back someone up so that he can plant his foot and go again and land something even bigger. Like that. Wasn't he the guy that did the 720 spin punch? He just stopped and hit your man up against the fence and dropped him. Crazy.
When you're that good at kicking, right? You know, every time you do a 12, that your opponent flinches. So you can do whatever you want in that space. You can create so much space just by flinching, turning your hips, or just turn a 12, and your opponent just backs up and runs away because they know those kicks hurt. So once you thread them with a couple of them, just spin around and down the back fence, and you just slip a fist in there whenever.
What a knockout! He's a great kicker. One of the best kickboxers probably in the last 20 years.
I agree 100%. But for McGregor, I'd love to see him sort of certainly something a bit new, and I think he is working on something a bit new. I don't think those calf kicks are going to be an issue for him. Whatever he does, I don't think it's going to be a big issue for him in this fight. You know, we're all aware of it. Poirier's going to be aware of it. McGregor's definitely going to be aware of it. But what that new thing's going to be, I don't know. That's what I can't wait to see.
Yes.
Again, like but he has a lot, like in terms of striking, especially before, like if you look Conor, like pre-Mayweather, like before he went off and explored boxing, his arsenal of striking was unbelievable. Like he'd throw spinning hook kicks, spinning back kicks, that teep to the body. Like I used to love how he used that teep to the body. He used to always set up the left counter so well. Because his opponent would always try to come back in and overextend, and he'd always pop with that left counter. And I think he could use that teep though on Saturday night. That could be one to do a good
advantage.
A big advantage.
Yeah.
Even the front kick to the face, even throw mad strikes like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just throw it up.
Yeah,
I'd love to see him go back to that though. Like implement his kicks back into his game because fair enough. Like look. The boxing, look, that's going to be there. He's like, before he retires, he's going to box Mayweather or Pacquiao, right? Again, either Mayweather again or Pacquiao. That's going to happen because look, money talks at the end of the day, and that's going to happen. But you'd like to think that if he's taking a real stab at this second coming in his MMA career, go the full 9 yards. Do you know what I mean? Like, show the commitment. And like, I think he will. I think when you look at him this week, like, especially I watched all the interviews today. Like, I suppose one of the great joys of working from home is you can have your telly in your room as well. Shout out to my workplace. But and like on my lunch break, like I had the McGregor interview on, and you can just see like how focused, how kind of driven he is. Because remember, like the second fight in the press conferences, and like to be fair, I like seeing the respect. I kind of liked the time seeing Sean Poirier respect Chandler and Hooker, and they're talking about you know,
a bit of humility almost, like
humility and kind of being humble.
Yeah.
But then, do you know what? Fuck that. Fuck that. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I get exactly
the Conor we all know and love him, kind of the Conor McGregor that
it
everyone
doesn't
fell
look
in
good
love
in him,
with.
does it? The nice, it doesn't look good in him. That's
it doesn't suit him.
I get that. I get
It'd be like me. It'd be like me if I
McGregor,
get. Do you know what that'd be like? I'll make an analogy here. I run a football podcast on this YouTube channel, right? That'd be like me, Dylan. You know this. You know what's coming here. That'd be like me going on my Man United podcast saying I like Liverpool. It's just so ingenuous and untrue. You know what I mean?
Oh God,
it doesn't work. Like.
It just doesn't work. So,
totally out of character, like
totally out of character. So Conor, keep talking shit. We all fucking love you for it. So look,
it's true though.
Press conference tonight. Like 1 o'clock tonight or something. The press conference.
Yeah, about that time. Yeah.
I'm working at 8 o'clock in the morning, but am I staying up for fucking? Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, man.
As
like,
we said, even
we get some bottle throws tonight? Do we get to does a brawl nearly break out tonight? What were you reckoning about the press conference tonight, guys? Like, what type of Conor do you think we're going to see at the press conference?
Oh, definitely. Do you know, I feel like it's the whole charity thing is going to be a string is going to pull on probably. He's going to be using that, and I think it's definitely going to be the Conor of old. I don't think he's going to come in all nice and apologetic. I think that sort of that feud that happened after their last fight about the whole charity thing was an invitation for this Conor the Conor of old to come back, which I actually quite love. So yeah, I feel like that's a really good excuse for him to go back to his house to just sort of like smack talking ways. So yeah, definitely. And look, he's hearing it. You know, we missed out Conor that we knew from before, and I think that's the one we're going to see in the press conference back again. So yeah.
And Erik,
great.
Do you think like when you look at this fight, like look this press conference, does it get as dark as the Khabib press conference? Because
that was just
like, remember how personal. Remember how personal.
That's the thing, though. That was personal. Like, you know, that was uncomfortable. I think the old Conor does need to come back. You know, just to get that buzz about it again. Do you know what I mean? That's what it is like, and that's why Conor does what he does. You know, it makes it exciting. You know, it makes the crowd watch the fights and stuff. You know, it makes money at the end of the day. You know.
Yeah. I mean, I don't usually always watch the press conferences, but the McGregor ones, like, you know, that's like entertainment itself, you know.
It's a whole event in itself.
Exactly. You know, you can pull that and just put it on Netflix, and, you know, you get people subscribing to Netflix just to like, watch it on replay, sort of like this sort of things. It's entertainment.
100%.
And Dylan, with yourself, do you think, like, I know you're a man who's kind of built on respect, and you're very humble. I know if like from seeing you fight, and obviously personally as well. I know you're a very humble guy, but I dare to say you definitely want to see that Conor come out. Definitely 100%.
As we said, like, I mean, it's Conor McGregor. Like, you don't want to see nice Conor fucking, you know, sharing hot sauce bottles with Poirier. Like, it was nice. It was great. It was. I think it was more of a thing, wasn't he, trying to show that he was like this kind of cleaned up character and stuff, maybe because he was in a bit of. He was getting a lot of shit over the past few years for different events, and he was, you know, he's done some things and he's been involved in things that maybe, you know, whatever. But so I think he was kind of maybe just trying to show that he was kind of a cleaned up character, because, like you said, the Khabib thing was actually dark. Like that was a different level of like, that was even beyond trash talking. Like, that was insane what happened there. So I think it'd be good to see the old Conor back, but like as you said, the you know, maybe not to that extreme where they're going to start talking about religions and families and stuff like. But definitely a bit of good old-fashioned banter and a bit of flagging. 100%.
I think families will probably be brought into it because of charity. Because of charity thing, families are going to be brought into it today tonight.
This is the thing, though. So look, we're going to have to wait and see. But either way, I'm going to be watching it and entertained. So, you know.
Kick the feet up. But before we get to like our predictions for the fight, so I know you want to touch on some there, so we're going to get to our predictions at the end of the show. So guys watching live, again, smash like the video, do hit that subscribe button, and look, let us know in the comments who you think is going to win this Saturday at UFC 264.
Yep, absolutely. So about the predictions, so guys, in terms of like who you think is going to be calling these rounds at the end of the fight, who going to give it to? Poirier or McGregor?
Well, I think,
I honestly think,
I think Poirier is actually going to win, and I could be eating my words on Sunday morning, but I actually think as much as I'd love to see McGregor, and I will be there hoping to see something special from him, I actually do think this is Poirier's kind of run at the title. I think he's going to beat McGregor, and he beat Charles Oliveira too. I personally think, I've been a fan of Poirier for a long time, like, and I wrote him off in the last fight against McGregor. I thought McGregor was going to come back and kind of get that second win over him and move on, but he proved me wrong last time. So look, I'm just not going to go against him again. I do think he's going to make the adjustments. But as I said, if it is something special for McGregor, I'll be the first one cheering. Like, so hopefully we see something special. But for a prediction, I would say Poirier now. Yeah, I think he'll stop him in round 4 or 5.
Yeah. Wow, that's surprising. Yeah, I thought he was going to go McGregor, to be fair, but yeah, no. Certainly, if he does get that far, I mean, I'd love to see the fight go 4 or 5 rounds.
This is it. Yeah.
You know, at that point, I don't care who wins. You know, I want to see that. I want to see it get into round 4 and 5.
Dogfight, like,
exactly. Yeah. But what about you, Erik? How are you calling the fight on the wall?
Yeah, look, like I said, man, it's going to be a very, very unpredictable fight. But I do think that Poirier is going to win. But I would like McGregor to win. I would, but I do see Poirier, taking this one home. But then again, I have been proved wrong in the past, and McGregor could just land that lucky left hand or something. And it does happen. But I think if it goes past 3 rounds, then Poirier is going to run away with it. No bother.
Yeah. Do you reckon it'll be a decision, or do you reckon it'll be a?
I reckon no. I do. I reckon if it goes under 3 rounds, McGregor will win. Right? I guess that. But if it goes 4th round or more, then I think McGregor's gonna gas out and Poirier just finish him off. I think.
Put the pressure on.
That's it. Exactly.
I'm going to go the opposite, guys. Anyway, I already said on against the fence. I think Conor within the first 2 minutes of round number 1.
Yes, you said it.
Animal.
He could do it.
He could do. At the same time, I mean, I'd love to see that, but at the same time, I'll be gutted. I want to see a 4th. I want to see a 4th fight after that, because I just want to get more rounds. It's just
great.
Exactly. It's illegal to knock him out in the first round. It's back and forth.
I just like going with an outlandish prediction, because I remember the last time we had Liam on. I remember Liam's prediction. I went on Paddy Power and everything, tried to back. Remember, it was 30-second knockout. Remember that I messaged Paddy Power and everything.
Yeah.
I messaged Paddy Power on Twitter. I was like, "Can I get odds?" Bastards wouldn't give me fucking odds.
No way.
Fucking yeah.
Jesus.
There's like, you have to ring up customer services. I was like, nah. I was like, fuck that. I'm not ringing up customer service looking for odds. But yeah, like, look, for me, I just want to see Conor put on a performance. And even if it gets to a point where it gets to the 4th, 5th round and he loses on decision, but he looks like Conor McGregor, and he does put on a good performance. Yeah. I think his fans, will kind of won't throw too much shade on him, because I think a lot of his fans kind of looked at that second Poirier fight and they were like, they didn't think he looked committed, or there was kind of excuses to kind of piling in after that. For me, like, if he goes in, looks like his best, and look, it's still not enough to beat Poirier. Let's say Poirier just takes him to the later rounds and just takes a decision due to a cardio issue or something like that. Like, look, one of the lads had to comment on Facebook. I'm not putting this comment up the screen. But look, if Conor looks like the Conor of old, and like he looks, like a committed mixed martial artist, then look, for me, I won't begrudge it. And look, I like Dustin Poirier as a fighter too. He's a veteran of the game. Like, he took that first loss against McGregor well, and like you can see how he evolved after that. He moved up in the weight, and he looked a lot more comfortable at that weight. So, look, I think for me anyway, whoever wins, I just hope it's a good fight as well. But look, if Conor does knock him out in the first 2 minutes, I'll be first one to clip this video up, and I will tag everyone. But just finally here now, Mystic Keane, strikes again. But before we wrap up, lads, I kind of just want to move away from UFC 264 just for a minute, because there's a potential fight people are talking about kind of a bit lately, and it's kind of middleweight division. Now, 2 things have to happen before it happens, but I'm just going to think about that. I'm going to speak about in a hypothetical sense here.
All right.
Israel Adesanya versus Darren Till. the reason why I want to bring up this potential fight is Israel Adesanya has to beat Robert Whittaker and Darren Till has to win his next fight for this to happen. The reason why I bring this up is obviously two boys are both stand-up fighters, and Adesanya and Darren Till are both kind of come from that background. And for many people would think that would be kind of I suppose a kickboxing match, Muay Thai fight in the cage.
Yeah.
Do you know, Dylan, I'll come to you first, kind of on that for yourself. With the prospect of having 185.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. And like you said, that would be a fight where I think there would be no takedowns. I don't think either guy would bother. Like, it would just be you're going to see a 5-round Muay Thai in MMA gloves fight. Like, you know, it'd be great to see. Till is very technical. He's very technical. You know, I think he outpoint Stephen Thompson that time in Liverpool, and he's beaten Kelvin Gastelum lately. Was that his last fight in someone else? Yeah.
He fought Whittaker
after that for a while,
and he lost to Whittaker, wasn't it? Yeah. Hopefully, he can win his next fight, and I think Adesanya will get through with Whittaker again. Whittaker's kind of a real like come forward brawler type of fighter. I think Adesanya will be a bit too smart for him. But him and Till would be a great fight, man. Yeah, and I think that would be a fight that you'd see the 5 rounds, and it would be a war. Like, it would be a war. Could be one of those fights, like, you know, it comes down to the 5th round, and both guys are going at it. It'd be a great fight to see. You're going to see every element of striking in that. And like I said, I don't think either guy would even bother to shoot for a takedown if they were even hurt in that fight. It would just be a straight up fight. Like, yeah, great to see.
Eric?
Yeah, look, I think Adesanya's probably been eyeing him up for a while. The same with Darren Till. He's probably been eyeing up Adesanya for a while, like, you know. But like Dylan was saying, you know, those two boys, they're not going to have any interest in going on, you know, the ground game. You know, that is all going to be stand up. It's going to be classic kickboxing Muay Thai fight, like, you know. And if it does go to 5-minute rounds, guys, that is going to be one very, very interesting fight.
I think it'd be a striking masterclass. Like,
oh man, it's going to be immaculate. Like, so even, like, the first time I saw Adesanya, you know, I was just mesmerized. Like, you know, he fought different. 4 lads in one night, like, you know, and won every single fight. Like, you know, he's one of these guys that's just unreal, phenomenal to watch. You know, a pleasure to watch as well. You know.
Yeah.
He's high level, man. High level.
Yeah.
One thing I tend to notice about really good fighters is there's more than just the technical ability and like what they do in the octagon, but they have this. They're smart. You know, they have this fighter IQ. And you can certainly see that with Izzy Adesanya. You know, when he's in the octagon, you can see him reading. You know, he's not just fighting; he's also reading. You know, he's setting traps as well. He's actually almost
so good at it.
You know, thinking one step ahead of the game.
He's playing the game all the time. He's reading movements, like, and his eyes are so good. Like, he'll look down and throw a head kick, or he look up and flick something to the body. Like, he does these little things that are so subtle but so good. Like,
exactly. And that is just the level of someone who's world class, and you don't see that too often unless you get into like the top 5 in your division. That's when you start really seeing fighter IQ sort of like at its best. And then but yeah, someone like Izzy Adesanya, he just does it too. It's with such
he's changed the game, definitely. I think there's going to be a lot more fighters looking like him in the next few, using those feints and those kind of sliding the hip forward, faking the kick, and then throwing punches, and just you never know what's coming. Like, these guys are afraid; they just shell up in front of him after a round or two.
Right, exactly. And look, Darren Till coming into that fight, he's going to have to bring something really special, I think. I mean, he's got great striking, absolutely, and he's been out for a while. He has, and I think the thing with that sort of fighter IQ that comes with the more battles you have, you know, the more sort of experience you have, you know, fighting and getting punched in the face, and you know, that's sort of how it comes. You can't really sort of learn that in the gym in your sort of training practice sort of thing. So, you know, it would be a great fight. Run it. I'd love to see it. Absolutely. And, you know, as you said, Keane, absolute striking clinic is what I would expect that to be like as well.
Yeah, I don't think anyone will be. I don't think anyone will be a dusty bitch in that fight. I don't think we'd see anyone sniff the jockstrap, as Conor would say. Do you know what I mean? I don't think there's any jockstrap sniffing you know, in that fight at all. But look, we'll wrap it up there, guys. It's been a very good podcast, very enjoyable, and look, I hope
as always,
coming into UFC 264 that the Conor McGregor does get the W, and most importantly, you know, it's a good fight. And both of them come out unscathed, jokes. I think, look, that's the most important thing. But for everyone as well, and do drop down into the video link description for Against Defense YouTube channel. This video will also be up there. Also check out the show we had on Monday with Ryan Spillane over there in Against Defense, and also the interview with John Mitchell if you didn't catch that as well. Before we go though, I just have to ask the $1 million question. Dylan, you know what's coming here. When's the MMA jump happening?
I knew it was coming. I was actually wondering there, like, is he actually going to not ask me the question? It's coming. But as I said, I think I've said it to you before as well. There's still a couple of things. There's still a lot I want to do in Muay Thai. You know what I mean? But 100% that's on the cards. I'm still young, plenty of time. As I said, just back training, just getting into the enjoyment of everything again and enjoying myself. So a couple of more fights, accomplish what I want to accomplish, and definitely you're going to see a crossover there. Could even already be a little bit of training going on in secret, but we'll say nothing, see the finished project in a couple of years' time. So work, it's a long term process. Long-term process.
We caught up with John Mitchell earlier in the week, and he was saying, look, get out to Dubai and he'll look after you.
Yeah. He's always on to me all the time, and he's doing great. I'm delighted for him. I know we were speaking earlier, but Irish talent, he's the best amateur prospect coming out of, or the best was the best amateur. He's the best professional prospect coming out of Ireland, I think. He's going to be UFC champ in the next 2 years, 3 years. 2 to 3 years, you're going to see that guy there. He's world level. He's world level. He's just waiting to show it. So yeah.
46 minutes and 18 seconds. That's a timestamp. We'll clip it up.
Definitely. There you go. Yeah. You heard it here. You heard it here first.
There we go.
That guy's a future champ. Yeah.
Absolutely. Look, we clip that up when it does happen. But
of course,
on that note, we're going to wrap it up there, guys. Thanks everyone for watching. Do smash like the video, hit that subscribe button. And as always, we'll see you next time. We'll see you later on.
Thanks, lads. Appreciate it.